Provost Jones, you were talking about using the best data and science available. Dr. Miller, you were talking about the research we're doing at Clemson. So I figured I'd move into our own Dr. Friedman at Clemson University, who's been testing the wastewater at the 3 plants. He describes the testing or the wastewater testing as, quote, a canary in a coal mine. In August, he said the possibility of exponential rise in virus transmission becomes a reality when results jump into the tens of thousands of copies per liter. The most recent update from last night from the 3 plants are well above tens of thousands. In fact, the Coach and Run plant is at 2.8 million. Campus is at 350,000, and Pendleton Clemson is at 240,000. Dr. Freeman also noted that he thinks that the indication of very active transmission, or when copies get into the millions, it's an indication of very active transmission of virus in the community. Since these results have been published, what steps has Clemson taken?
A real good one. And we have a very interesting experiment has already happened, because we began sampling on campus just to set some baselines. Mm-hmm. I think there was a mistake in one of the early samples, but we saw some of these high numbers and we thought they would start off at low. So we took, in an abundance of precaution, we went back and retested a large number of people in the Dowtha Hills dorms, because downstream of that, we had these numbers that were very high. Mm-hmm. We found virtually no spike. There's no issue. Nothing was going on. We think some athletes who were in those dorms, who were tested positive and who's isolated in place because they were in single room, single bathroom places, that may have populated the wastewater in those dorms. And what we were sampling is those older things. So what does that reveal? The wastewater data and the wastewater analyses are a very, very, very immature science. There's not a lot of data out there that shows exactly what those numbers mean. Mm-hmm. It's clear that when there are high numbers, somebody's sick. Right. And they're shedding virus particles. Right. And that's about all we can say now. That shook a little of our confidence, but we do believe that this is important to continue on, and we want to run it as an experiment and begin refining as best we can and calibrating these numbers so that we understand what they mean. And we will continue to see them as a canary in the mine. And if a spike occurs, we're going to start redeploying our sampling strategy and try to find out where that is. And if there's a problem, nip it in the bud, rather than just wait until all of a sudden 2 or 3 weeks later, we realize there's a giant nexus of infections that we've failed to observe. So we still think it's valuable, but its direct correlation of specific numbers to specific risks and specific numbers of people who are sick is very, very fluid right now. It's not very well nailed down.